Hello and welcome to the BSR Grand Tour live on Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me is the other Sam Kumo, who's also on the cameras, and we are here at Belle Isle. I think this might be the first race we've done on Apex Racing TV around this circuit. And Sam, it's going to be a tricky one, let's say. Tight, twisty, bumpy, and with 20 odd cars around this place, going to be a bit awkward for them.
Yeah, hi, good evening everyone. Yeah, I think this might be the first time we are broadcasting a race here at the Belle Isle, so I think this is going to be setting a benchmark for what kind of racing we can expect on this track. Personally, I've not even driven on this track, and so I just bought it like 2 hours ago. Haven't had a chance to really take a look at it, so I think even for the viewers' benefit, before this qualify ends, I think we will have to do our on board with one of these guys. But before that, how about we go over the standings really quickly?
Yes, and it's Anwar Smith, currently the championship leader, some 40 points ahead of Josh Thompson, who is just ahead of Steve Labelli, who moved up into third in the championship. Richard Kopenko has had a couple of poor rounds in the Youth Energy car. He's down into fourth with Michael Abdoka and Vic Cullinan remaining in fifth and sixth. But just behind there is Colin Robinson, who had an awesome mid-Ohio round. So he's seventh, and of course the top six get into the showdown, and that's what all these drivers will be wanting. The last 3 rounds of the season will be the showdown, and all the drivers will be aiming for that. Also Scott Malcolm, Kip Stevens, Max Wright, and Anthony Jigson not too far off one of the spots. Here is Colin Robinson. This might be a chance for us to maybe go on board for a lap, I think.
Yeah, he's just about to come across the finish line, so let's first see if he continues, because I believe this might be a hot lap for him, and usually they just run once. But let's stay on board and see if he is going to continue.
Yeah,
at least he did not improve with the lap time, so I would expect him to try.
Yeah, you're quite a bit off his lap time. Those first 2 corners really difficult, especially with the bump on the exit. Checker flag is out, but Colin Robinson can complete this lap, and he's gone too deep, and that's a bit annoying. It's probably our fault, that. But that's just one of the difficult zones. Here's Lee Woodburn. He's about halfway around the circuit right now, and just heading down this pretty much the longest straight on the circuit. And you just got to open up this next section. It's so tight and twisty through this bit. Don't attack the curb too much. The wall sticks out on the outside. Now get to the other side of the circuit. Just cover the curb there. Use all the space, and then just keep a nice strong line through this part. You've got to carry the speed, but also line up this next hairpin. And it's a little bit difficult on the exit there. This next corner though is so difficult. Massive curb on the inside, as you'll see. And just on the outside, the track just falls away into the wall. This one a little bit easier, now it's flat out to the end. Of course, a 0x for these guys will make their qualifying lap invalidated. Lee Woodburn comes across the line. His best was a 28.2, just at a 28.9, so unfortunately could not improve. Yeah, got about a minute to go now in this session, with Max Wright still looking to improve his lap time. Quite slow at the moment is Wright at 29.4. And of course, we haven't seen too many street cycles. Of course, there's not many on iRacing, but I think we tend to see when we do go to circuits like this and Bathurst and Montreal, for example, there's a few drivers who can really get the most out of the car, who really enjoy the circuit, and a few who absolutely hate it.
Yeah, I think through street circuits, I don't think there's the Long Beach, but it's not really an official, it's not finished. And Montreal, I think it's technically street circuit, but it doesn't really have the street feel to it, like this one with the concrete walls. So this might be a new experience for a lot of these guys, and I think that might be also showing in the turnout. We only have 18 drivers so far, and Malcolm and Stevens haven't even set the lap time. But we are ready to go for the grid.
Yes, and it is Josh Thompson on pole position, only just ahead of Richard Kopenko by 1/100th of a second. Further half a second back to Richard Warren. That's a strong qualifying for Richard. I think that might be his strongest of the season. Anwar Smith will be competitive in fourth. Then it's Chris Danes in fifth. good qualifying for him. So too Michael Gray in 6th. Bart Daleman starts in 7th with Steve Lavelli in 8th. He'll be trying to improve on that position, but still only 8/10 off the pole position. That's pretty good for him. Jamie Ayres had a good mid-Ohio round, so too did Colin Robinson, with James Underhill starting in 11th. It's Faith Cullinan a little bit further down the field than we usually see him. Ronald Moons starts in 13th with Lee Woodburn, who we saw that lap with, in 14th. And it's Anthony Jacobson in 15th, Max Wright in 16th, with Kip Stevens and Scott Malcolm not setting a lap time. And yeah, just gridding up now. Is this a rolling start or a standing start, Sam?
Let's see.
I think
They seem to be...
I think it's a standing start. There's no pace car.
Yeah, I believe that's normal. I think we might have a rolling start on later. I don't remember it exactly how it went with this series.
Oh, so I've done like 20 rounds of this or anything. Yeah, I should really know what the format is. But this first race will be 20 minutes long. I know that, with the second race 20 minutes long and the third 35 minutes long, with a pit stop as well. It is definitely a rolling start usually, but here we go. Should be a bit interesting.
Yeah, I think so, because last week at Mid-Ohio we did have the rolling start, so I don't know why they chose standing for this one.
So Josh Thompson from the pole position. The time is up for the drivers to get onto the grid. And the revs will rise here at Belle Isle for the race 1 of the evening. And away we go. Josh Thompson away well. Richard Gapenku, nearly tried to get involved there, but Thompson covered him off very quickly. Warmingham hanging on to 3rd, with Chris Daines already making it up to 4th. Now, are there any incidents through that turn 2? There's a car into the wall already. That was Jamie Ayres, I think. And trying to make the move now is Anwar Smith on Richard Gapenku, who's not had a brilliant start. And round the outside went Warmingham. So Warmingham up into 2nd position. Anwar Smith tried to go through as well, so it must have been a poor exit there for Gapenku. I'll just see if there's any more instances. The cars snaking through this first part of the circuit. And Colin Robinson losing a position. Bart Daleman down 3 positions. But so far, so good, I'd say, Sam.
Yeah, so far it looks good. I'm not seeing at least any major damage to these cars. Well, Jacobson has some slight damage on the bonnet. Not much.
Yeah, I suddenly saw Josh Thompson pulling down the field. I think he is okay. I think he might just have a couple of connection issues, but he is out in the lead currently. Didn't take pole position by a big margin. Just about did enough, and Richard Warmingham driving strongly in P2 at the moment. And there's a big crash now. And it's Colin Robinson and James Underhill, the main victims of that.
Let's see if we can get the better view here.
Oh, he just got on that curb, didn't he? And concertina effect, Bart Daleman was the initial tap round, with Cullinan just profiting from that, I think. And yeah, Daleman just about hung on against Cullinan, but Robinson, his competitive race, all but over. Warmingham under pressure from Smith. Oh, Smith nearly losing the car, I thought there. Oh, sorry, that's Gapenku, so just behind him. Smith in 4th position. But it's so difficult to follow around this circuit with the bumps. And for now, he's going to have to stay in behind. And there's just not a clear opening here. And it must be just so difficult, such a daunting prospect to go for a move into a corner like that when you've got such a narrow exit and a wall right on the outside.
Yeah, we saw that on those, especially those later corners, you really don't want to risk and just stay inside the curb, because we saw what happens then. You're just a passenger. Oh, and that's Chris Daines getting a little bit loose on the exit.
Yeah, Daines up 2 positions from his starting position of 5th. Oh, sorry, running in 4th, so apologies for that. Yeah, just watching in behind. And yeah, Smith and Gapenku getting a little bit close, so all of a sudden a little bit of a queue maybe might be starting not far behind Warmingham. Dane's looking strong in the Ferrari. It's difficult to tell which car is going to be strong around this circuit and which maybe will struggle a little bit, but right now, Dane's looking very confident. And it's going to take quite something, I think, for these four drives to change anytime soon.
Yeah, I think at this point, maybe here the car selection is not as crucial, rather than just who can learn the track quickest and who can kind of figure out where the bumps are, where you can put the car, and like, what is the optimal line here and where you can make the moves.
Yeah, they'll be finding this out, and Rick Cullinan right on the tail of Jamie Ayres, who hit the wall on lap 1, and Cullinan went for the move, and that could be terminal damage for Rick Cullinan as he got a lot of steering damage. He's seemingly okay for now. And yeah, you can see him getting on okay, still a little bit offline, but no, actually, I think that's fine for Rick Cullinan. So lucky there. And yeah, I doubt that was the right move from Rafe there, because he went to the outside in a corner where it's impossible to go down the outside of.
Yeah, it seems like on this track the outside line is not going to work because it gets so tight on the exit, as is usual for the street circuits. You have the tire walls that are really coming at you on the exit, and if you get stuck there, you're just not going anywhere.
Yeah, and that corner in particular, the wall really sticks out. This one isn't too bad because you've got a nice little escape road. And yeah, a little bit of grass on the outside as well. You can always see a few drivers have been using that grass. It just gets tighter and tighter as this circuit goes on. And Cullinan trying to line this one up again, but once again, I think he's going to be way too far back. He's 6/10 behind, got a slightly better run. We've got Moral Moons having a good run actually in P10 currently, just behind these guys. Let's see if Cullinan can get much closer this time on his rival. Doesn't seem like he has.
No, it seems like maybe Ralph has some issues with the braking, because I hear plenty of locking up. So that might be the result of the small collision that he had, while Ralph was running really wide there in the background.
Yeah, nearly hitting the wall, I think, on the exit of that hairpin. Cullinan's so close now. Is there any way through? You just got to pick your line. And nearly spinning there was Jamie Ayres. Now, can Cullinan make the move going into turn 1? Sure, he's got to defend as Jamie Ayres, but he hasn't. Cullinan to the inside. And when you get half a chance like that, you've got to be really committed. And Cullinan thought it was better just to back out and maybe line up a move later on in the lap.
And let's take a look at the front. The battle for second place is still going on. Warmingham able to hold off Kafenku, but Errol Smith is closing in and just hanging back there and waiting for any kind of opportunity to present itself.
Warmingham became notorious in season 1 of this championship at being very good at maintaining a race lead. Often would get pole position, and despite not necessarily being the strongest driver across the evening, in that race 1 he'd be really strong, just keeping the cars behind, staying consistent. And that's what he's doing currently. Richard Kafenko, we certainly haven't seen him get close to an overtake. You can see he's right on the back bumper. But there's just a select few places where you can even think about the overtake, and even then, you gotta be really brave to go for it. Is it maybe worth Smith getting past Kafenko for a couple of laps, just so, you know, it's a fresh pair of, a fresh brain to have a go and think of some new ideas?
Well, so far we've seen it's been very difficult to make any kind of overtakes. So for Anwar to make a move, he needs to overtake both of these guys. We know he is a fast driver, but is he able to? And we see Kafenko make the move inside line. And it
Really
seems like
good move
Warmingham
from
kind of
Kafenko.
let it go. Yeah.
Yeah, that was maybe wise from Warmingham, but he's got to be careful from Smith just behind. And now he expects Kafenko to run up into the distance, so certainly the right call from the Youth Energy cars not to swap around, because Kafenko's made that move now. And Warmingham already, you can see that gap ever so slightly building up. Though he does get a bit of a slipstream down here. Do you think Warminger will be able to keep up now, or is it just a case of trying to protect the podium?
It did look like Kafenko was slightly faster, but now we know that Smith is a really fast driver, so I don't know how long Warminger can hold off Smith. I think it might have not been the best decision to let Kafenko by so easily, because now he is under twice the pressure from faster driver, and we'll see what's happening here. Off the screen I can tell you that Max Wright has taken to the pits, so he must have had some kind of damage. And let's see, I think here might have happened something, let's see.
Didn't have a strong qualifying?
No, he didn't. Spun, and that might be enough for the fast repairs, I think.
Yeah, so
once you get turned out, it's very difficult to get your car pointed the right way, as we can see here.
Yeah, I didn't quite see that on my screen, but yeah, just watching it back now on the stream, and yet just losing the car at the hairpin. And yeah, Wright will be looking to maybe get used to this track a little bit more. He's had a strong season as Max, right? Really has improved in these cars, but yeah, not having a great day today. As I was saying earlier, some drivers absolutely love circuits like this, some hate them. It seems like Max Wright just hasn't quite got used to this place yet.
And I think the same goes for Jamie Ayres. He has some damage to this car that it didn't have before, so something must have happened and has allowed the Ralf Cullinan to make the move. Just wonder, can we find it on the list here?
Yeah, I think I can see it on my one. Don't know if you can see it, Sam, on your event viewer, but yeah, making the move was Raikkonen on Jamie Ayres, and yeah, here it was, and Ayres again hitting that turn 2 wall. He did it on the first lap, and I thought that might be his race over, because just a little bit of corner damage can cause a lot of steering damage in these cars. Cullinan making that move. Certainly seems as though that turn 3 is the #1 overtaking spot for these cars.
Yeah, and especially the inside line, because if you can get the inside line, it seems to be that you are just able to force the driver to keep you to position, because it is really high risk move to try and hang on the outside line. But I think that's true for most of these corners.
Still staying close is Richard Warmingham on Richard Kafenko. Just ahead is Max Wright, of course, in the red Mercedes. I don't think he's going to put much of a fight up. And actually just making a little bit of contact was Kafenko. Wright did a good job of just getting out of the way there, letting the cars past. But you doubt Richard, he maybe struggles for overtaking on his good days, will be able to make a move against Richard Kafenko when their lap times are so similar. Here's Ronald Moons now, the next up on Jamie Ayres. And Ayres maybe carrying a little bit of damage from early on. And yeah, he's going to be very vulnerable now.
Yeah, that damage might be hurting his lap. So let's just take a look. He's steering straight, because that usually can get damage on that kind of collisions. Maybe a little bit leaning to the right side, but I think that's just air damage that's slowing him down.
Yeah, could leave him a little bit vulnerable down the straights. And of course, any kind of drag deficit you have around a circuit like this is going to make a overtaking move much more possible. You really need everything you can get, does Ronald Moons. But down this not straight, it's a couple of corners really, nowhere near close enough seemingly, as means to go for a move down into this corner. You gotta be super late on the brakes and almost certainly side by side, and he's hit the wall as Ronald Moons. Oh, how much damage has he got from that one? I fear for him, and yeah, he's nearly lost the car, and I think that's quite a lot of damage from Ronald Moons. Having a really good run out there in P10, but he's still going on. But yeah, he's clearly got a lot of damage in that car now.
Let's just take a quick look at how that happens, because it seems like many of the drivers are losing their car in the same way here. So is it some bump that they are running into, or what?
Oh, it's just the understeer, isn't it? It's like, oh, really don't want to get off the, really don't want to get off the throttle here. Really don't want to apply a bit of brake, and kind of that stubbornness, I think, can kind of drag you into the wall, which, yeah, like I said before, kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. And
yeah,
that
also kind of looked like that. There's no camber on the road like in most normal racing courses, so maybe you're used to just having a little bit of help at the exit, whereas here you got none, so it almost sucks you into the wall.
Yeah, definitely. Although, I think he's still going strong as one of me. He's still in P10. Although he is, yeah, he's only 1.4 seconds off, Jamie Ayres, sorry. Bart Delman down 6 positions.
Yeah,
Gonna be horrible here. What happened to Bart?
Let's see. I'm not seeing anything obvious. I just saw him overtake Scott Malcolm right here.
Yeah, I think it was something that
it
happened.
seems like Malcolm just let him by.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Delman, of course, had that spin down at this corner, didn't he? And that was the point where he lost, where he caused a lot of damage. Malcolm's still going well, to be fair. 15th, he didn't set a qualifying time. Maybe he's struggling a little bit around here as well. Hopefully we'll get an interview with Scott later on. But yeah, he's not loving it around here. So too is Colin Robinson in 15th, although he was caught up in that incident as well. I'll be interested to see if he can catch up. Ronald Mees now right on the tail of Jamie Ayres again. So he's coming back at him. But where is he going to make this move? Surely it's got to be down into turn 3, which I think is the place where we've seen pretty much all the overtakes being made.
Yeah, Moon's really hopping those curbs. I don't think it's helping him that much. Now here's the long straight. You can get some draft here as Max Wright gets out of the way. But is he close enough? Thinks about it, but just backs off. Again, hopping the inside curb and losing the back end slightly.
Yeah, not quite sure what the ideal amount of curb through that corner is in these GT3 cars. They do take the curb relatively well. But yeah, that time I think Moon's losing a little bit of time. Really can't make a move into this one unless the driver ahead makes a mistake, and again into this one, and Ayres has made another little mistake with the rear end. He doesn't like that corner whatsoever. Moons will close in again, but this is pretty much the maybe the second longest straight on the circuit, and you can see only right at the end can he really gain some in the slipstream. Now Moons, can he use the bump to his advantage? Again, just tapping the wall is Jamie Ayres. He's not holding back whatsoever. He's almost using those walls as a bit of an aid to make him go faster. But yeah, if he picks up too much damage, he's going to be very vulnerable to the car behind.
Yeah, I think some of these walls will be in green color after this race. By the way, Jamie Ayres is tapping them. But on this view, you can really see how bumpy this track is. It's kind of like Sebring, but just much tighter corners in my opinion. Yeah, the way you can see Jamie Ayres, the back end just hopping off the ground. And that is really what's causing so much trouble with the control.
So this is where Ronald Means has had the issues before. If you're really close to this part of the circuit, you can do a brilliant sneak attack. Just coming out of this next corner and just hop down the inside into this hairpin, because you can see he's not in there. If you do a move like that, I did that once, and Ayres is round and Moons is through. So Jamie Ayres, just had to wait for the mistake, did more Moons in the end, and Ayres loses out.
Yeah, let's take a look. Again, just too much inside curb.
Yeah, and the bumps around that corner didn't help either. But yeah, the curb really finished him off, and these curves on this circuit. Of course, do you think that little bit of damage to the bonnet maybe blocks his view and makes that makes those corners a little bit more difficult to spot the curb?
Could be, but also it might have a little bit of a suspension damage on the right front corner because it's really hopping around, and that almost reminds me of the Radical back in the day when you couldn't drive it over the curbs without bouncing off the track. So there might be just some damage. I don't think it's normal for this car to be so bad over the curbs.
No, and maybe we'll need to make some changes to that setup. Be a little bit better around this circuit. Colin Robinson trying to make the move on Scott Malcolm now. He's been really close for a few corners now, and he's significantly faster, some 3 seconds a lap faster as Colin Robinson. But if he can't make this move by the end of the race, this will be a perfect demonstration of how difficult it is to overtake around here, especially in a BMW, struggling maybe for a little bit of straight line speed.
I think like if you can get ahead, then yeah, it's great with the BMW, but we'll see. Colin did have a small peak earlier, but I think he's just playing it cautiously and doesn't want to go into the walls just by racing it too much. Now here, if you can get a good run, you might be able to get a peak, but it's not very long straight.
They will just have one more lap to do it with Colin Robinson. And can he find the inside maybe for turn 1? We saw Colin struggle to make the move into turn 1, and once again Robinson, now he's so close to the back of Scott Malcolm's car. But I think we should turn to Josh Thompson, because this is the last lap and we got Anthony Jacobson and Colin Robinson in the wall. And oh, we got Ayres as well. He's out of the race. But Thompson,
it's a final lap and everything happens.
Yeah, Thompson has won the race out there. It's all gone kapoosh for this last lap of this first race of the evening, but Josh Thompson was absolutely flawless for the entire race, and he wins by nearly 10 seconds over Richard Kabenku and Richard Warmium in second and third positions. They're still going at it. Jamie Ayres, I think, just overtook Anthony Jacobson.
Well, that's no wonder, because let's see. Jacobson, he is moving slowly. Robinson isn't moving at all, and where is McWright? McWright, he is still going on.
He's a lap down, isn't he? I think Max.
Yeah.
Oh, Ayres has just got.
And he's
Delman's dropping down.
So sorry to Jonas, but we didn't really have a much chance to cover you because you were so far ahead. So maybe for the next 2 races, try not to build such a gap. So maybe have some battles there, so we can just focus on you as well.
So in one of the weirdest finishes to a race I think I've ever seen, we've got a driver with a blown engine racing 2 drivers, I think, with cars which wouldn't even be up for an MOT test. Ayres is going to manage to get 12th position from this, and oh, it's quite a tragic sight, isn't it?
I mean, how many times have you seen a car with a blown engine finish the race, let alone basically finish ahead of someone?
2 people. Crazy. I don't know if we could quickly get a replay of who started it. It was Ayres, wasn't it, who started that whole incident, I think, on the final lap.
Jamie Ayres crashed, so this might have something here.
Okay, so Ayres loses it here. And now we wait for the other drivers to come into shot because they somehow get involved. There's Wright just going past. Oh, there's Jacob. Okay, so Jacobson and Bart Delman just came together randomly, and then wait for the next one.
Colin. It was 3 separate incidents at the same corner. I'm guessing they just waited for the final lap to have all that.
I don't know if there was just a gentleman's agreement of we're all, you know, absolutely on our last leg to... Let's see this. So what is Delman doing going for a move into turn 2? Or does Jacobson, oh, that's clumsy from Bart. And actually, to be fair, I don't think he wanted to beat Jacobson after that, and Jacobson didn't want to beat
Yeah,
him
that
to
was-
beat him either.
And reverse by Jacobson. Just reversing into Darman. And that is... Robinson just... I think he also lost it on his own. Let's just look this one then, and then we go over the results.
So Malcolm
what's
finished
happening?
11th in the end. And that's the spike crashing on the last lap.
So why did Malcolm finish? Oh no,
he just drove
yeah,
past all
yeah,
of these guys.
yeah, he got way past.
So despite being 3 seconds a lap slower, and being in 15th place on the going on to the last lap, and he's just thinking, oh, this is wonderful day for me.
Well, that's how you get the points. Just
Yeah.
make it the finish and don't try to hit the walls too hard.
Well, you can see he's hit the walls a few times anyway, but they again then got Delman as well, up until 11th. Perfect drive from Scott Margaret. He was actually the big gainer at that, up 7 positions after starting in 18th place. But in the end, after all that, Josh Thompson took an easy race victory, 9.5 seconds clear of Richard Gafenko, who got held up a little bit by Richard Warmingham in the early stages, but those two, to be fair, after that, very evenly matched. Anwar Smith finished in 4th place with Michael Gray getting past Chris Daines then, so I think we missed that, but yeah, 5th and 6th for those two. Steve Labelli didn't really make much of an impact in 7th, but Viv Carnan, good drive from him from 12th to 8th. Ronald Moons has a couple of issues, but he still made the moves when they counted. 13th to 9th for him, with Lee Woodburn 14th to 10th. Scott Malcolm 18th to 11th, gained 4 places on the last lap, despite making no proper overtakes. Jamie Ayres finished in 12th with Anthony Jacobson 13th, Bart Delman frustrating for him in 14th, Colin Robinson in 15th, and Max Wright 16th. And it's James Underhill who retired with 13 laps to go, and Kip Stevens didn't take the starts. And Sam, I think we have the reverse wheel for the evening.
Yes, here it goes, and it is on the screen, and fingers crossed we might have music this time. So let me know on the stream if you get the music.
Better get that music. It's brilliant.
And it is 20. I think that's full, yeah. It is because we have 18 drivers.
So it's -1 lap is valid.
Yeah.
So Max Wright should be on pole position. Colin Robinson will be strong, potentially starting from 2nd. And what a long races are going to be for the likes of Josh Thompson, Richard Gafenko, Richard Warmingham, Anwar Smith, and all the others having to make their moves around such a difficult circuit as this. We'll be back in probably only about 10 minutes after all we talked about that last lap incident. But yeah, about 10 minutes time, race 2 of the evening here at Detroit.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMeritt at the line.
Welcome back to the BSR Grand Tour here at Belle Isle, live on Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Sam Kume, who is also on the cameras. And we just saw a race one with Josh Thompson racing away with the victory. So a little bit of carnage in the background as well in the final lap of the event. But for this second race of the evening, which will be lasting for 20 minutes, Max Wright starts on the pole position with Colin Robinson in second. Bart Delman starts in third with Anthony Jacobson fourth. And it's Jamie Ayres, Scott Malcolm, Lee Woodburn, Ronald Moons, Rafe Clennon and Steve Lavelli starting in 10th minutes. Behind that, Chris Daines, Michael Gray, Anwar Smith, Richard William, Richard Gafenke and Josh Thompson. Race 1 winner starting in 16th position with James Underhill in 17th place. We saw a little bit of carnage right at the end of that last race, Sam. I think it could be the same for this one.
Yeah, we saw it was unexpected carnage, really. It just came out of nowhere, and because of that we kind of missed Josh coming across the finish line. But we'll see what happens this time. We saw that it is very difficult to make the overtakes here, so the faster guys really have to work hard to make it to the front.
Yeah, will be fascinating. How many moves can they make up in the early stages? But for this one, it'll be Max Wright, Colin Robinson to bring them round, and away they go. Robinson away well. Bart Delman's in second position, just ahead of Jamie Ayres still. And they seem to have all got through the first corner. Okay, a little bit of contact for Delman going through turn 2, and it could be 3 wide in the background as well. So far, no instance through the first couple of corners will there be any late movers going into turn 3. Anwar Smith is really deep on the inside, and there could be contact between a couple of cars. And there is. Chris Daines is round. Thompson has got through, and Warmingham and Underhill and a little bit slow through that one. Max Wright just getting through, and so too Anthony Jacobson. But here is the real battle, and Cullinan trying to make his way through the field. He's right onto the tail of Steve Lavelli. Let's see if there's going to be any moves at the end of this one. Scott Malcolm already dropping down the field as well. But really good showing for these drivers on this first lap, it seems.
Yeah, it seems like maybe they are getting the kind of contacts out of the way early, so they can then focus on racing. We do see some moves happening here, and Anwar is being much more aggressive this time around. I think he... Oh, and that was it Ralph Cullinan having small contact there?
Yeah, Smith just making a little bit of contact with Cullinan. Let's see if there's any moves around this part side. It's all about just lining it up now for turn 1. It's brilliant to see such a long queue of cars. They're all desperately trying to make the moves. Malcolm is going to lose a position potentially.
But
they're round. And there's a lot of cars around, and there's a lot of contact, a lot of crashing. How on earth did that one start?
I believe it started when Malcolm went sideways. Was he assisted or not? Yeah, there might be some assistance there. And that was Ronald Moose pushing along the main straight.
Yeah, and they remain side by side through turns 1 and 2. That has opened up this race. Josh Thompson has gained 11 positions already. From 16th on the grid. Actually, is he going to get Lee Woodburn here? Woodburn a little bit slow. Thompson can get this one done nice and quickly. And he is down on the inside. Woodburn really wide there. He's struggling a little bit. But Thompson up into the top 4. He's 6.5 seconds off Daleman in the lead. And I was talking a little bit off air, Sam, how I thought he might be able to get a podium. Could be a whole lot better than that.
Yeah, we thought it would take at least a few laps to just get into the top 10, but by managing to survive through the currents on the main straight, he has just lead multiple positions. And I believe, okay, we have more happening behind. I think that's Chris Daines. Not having the greatest day with his Ferrari, I think. There seems to be some damage to the suspension. I don't know if there's... Oh, there's a spin. There's a crash.
A little bit more damage to the suspension, I think, now. so many cars wounded in that first lap wreck, and there's not too many cars which don't have at least a major dent in them at this point in the race. One of the better looking cars is Anwar Smith though. He's just behind Lee Woodburn, and Woodburn, oh, he's so nearly into the wall, and you can see how much Lee is struggling around this circuit, just struggling for confidence out there. And Smith and Gray both moved through into 5th and 6th positions.
And you say that Anwar's car is looking good. I would argue that the front end looks very second hand.
I said better.
Well, true. I think maybe Bart Dalman might know he has damage as well. Jamie Ayres. Is there damage? It might be almost bleed. It's hard to tell with that paint job. But it seems like Jamie Ayres is having much better race than the previous one.
Yeah, seemingly
Robinson has some new shapes to his BMW.
He's been falling down the field. I feel sorry for Colin. He lost the position to Jamie on that last lap. And I've seen him hit the wall a couple of times already, again quite close to that as well. And Josh Thompson will be closing in on those extremely quickly. Richard Waring was caught up in an instant at turn 3 on the opening lap, and we got a car around in the background as well. That was Ronald Moons. Had
and
troubles
in the difficult. Yeah, that's a difficult position because now he needs to spin it. Not getting enough wheel spin, and don't go too far or you'll get disqualified.
Oh.
Okay, that works too. But you know what, this might be one of the few tracks where safety car would be useful.
Yeah, I think so. I think I have the power to deploy a safety car. I'm just gonna see if I can, as I just see the move for Lee, but oh no, I can't. Okay, that's a bit disappointing. But yeah, Lee Woodburn just about holding on to against Richard Roy. Lee's been falling down the field. Thompson is onto the back of Robinson. So we should really pay a little bit of attention to this one, because this could be race deciding.
Yeah, that took no time at all, and to be fair, Colin is dealing with some damage, but well, so is Josh, so we'll see what happens, but I think Colin knows the speed difference between them, and he's probably not going to push too hard. As we see Josh getting a good run here, but he has to go the outside line, and that hasn't been the preferred choice so far. But it looks like Colin is just letting this one go.
Yeah, I think that's very wise from Colin that. And yeah, Thompson now, he is 4.5 seconds off Daleman, lapping on that last lap 8/10 faster. I say only 8/10 faster. I think that was because he was stuck behind Robinson for a few corners and getting so close to the wall net there. Now he needs to get past Jamie as quick as possible. How close is it going to be at the end of this one? If you dive down the inside here, there isn't a whole lot the defending car can do, because it's just, you know, they don't really have anywhere to turn into. Thompson, can he go for the sneak attack? I talked about this a little bit in the last race. You could just get the run through this one and just dive down the inside into this next hairpin. But you got to be really brave if you do go for it. And once again, we see Ayres really struggling with the rear end of that Mercedes. Clearly, those those dampers and whatnot, not to his liking.
No, but it's at least a little bit better than was it in the first race. But as you were saying about the inside line there, you still have to be really careful because of those high curbs. If you go too aggressively on the inside and then lose control and crash into your fellow competitor, he might have a few words to say after the race.
Here he goes, Josh Thompson to the inside of Jamie Ayres. And this will be for second position in the race. Josh Thompson started in 16th place. But on lap 6, he's up into the top 2, and now he's 4.5 seconds behind Bart Dillman. Didn't really make up any time on that last lap, but you'd be hard-pressed to say that he won't be able to catch the Nomad Sim Racing driver in the next 12 minutes of action in this race.
Yeah, Bart was really fast in the LMPs when we ran those. He's not had such a good luck with the GT3s, but It seems like his pace is alright so far. Previous lap time equal to Josh Thompson. We know Josh is really fast, and well, to be fair, his fast lap is half a second faster than Bart. But Bart is by no means a slow driver.
Yeah, and of course, even if Thompson does catch up, overtaking will be extremely difficult for him to pull off, although we saw on Ayres and Robinson, it wasn't too difficult whatsoever, but that first lap incident where so many cars were involved in a crash has really opened up this race for Josh Thompson. Here's Michael Gray right on the tail of Anwar Smith. He was complaining how this place is a bit of a procession. And he'll be kind of hoping for that right now because he wants to hang on to this 5th position. Gray looking strong, and soon these two are going to be right onto the back of Robinson. They are lapping about a second a lap faster.
Yeah, also another battle that's going on. Just outside top 10 is Max Wright and Richard Kafenko. As Richard makes the move on the inside line here. Very careful there. But Max Wright just gives him the room. Doesn't want to cause any major issues here. And I think in the first race we saw that if you can just keep it clean and make it through, you can get some points. Just like Scott Malcolm, he was able to overtake multiple drivers at the end there.
Yeah, absolutely, finishing in 11th position despite being at least a couple of seconds a lap slower than his main rivals, and there he is currently running in P12. So again, you know, out of 17 cars who took the start, this will be more good points for Scott Malcolm. Can hang on to this one. And he is 10 seconds. He might be caught by Rafe Conlon, to be fair, by the end of this one. But, you know, it still would be more points for Scott to keep his showdown chances alive, even if they are a little bit slim.
Yeah, I think he might have had some small issue on the previous lap because it was 2 seconds slower than everyone else. And what's happening here? We have Lee Woodburn having some issues, I think.
I think Lee's just struggling a lot, to be honest. I think he's quite a bit slower than these guys and has just been dropping down the field for this entire race. So just laying past Rich Gabenko and Max Wright quite clean. I think kind of taking your advice of just keeping it clean and ending up where he'll finish, but you know, he's 10 seconds clear of Scott Malcolm now, and they are relatively even on pace, so might be able to hang on to that 11th, and it'd be hard pushed not to bet against there being a crash up ahead. Now the battle between Ayres, Robinson, Robinson, Smith, and Gray really hotting up now.
Yeah, it's a good 3-car battle here. It seems like the cleanest one of them all might be Michael Gray, I think.
Yeah, and seemingly the fastest as well. Like, if he makes more errors like that, may not remain the fastest. Of course, if these guys get caught up behind the likes of Robinson and Ayres for very long, then Warmian will be onto the back of these guys. And maybe even Underhill as well, though actually Underhill's quite a bit further behind. But Smith, yeah, trying to line up Robinson. Robinson lost out to Thompson at the end of this straight when Thompson made the move for 3rd position. Smith, you can see the amount of damage on that car, but yeah, nowhere near. And that maybe that damage really cost him down that straight. Robinson wide though. Smith to the inside. And he's made it into turn 4. Nice move from Anwar Smith. And next up will be Michael Gray.
Yeah, that was a nice move. Got a good run there. And just put the car on the inside line. That didn't really leave much choice for Robinson. And it was a nice pass there. And also talking about the damage on the bonnet, I think on the driver's view it's even worse because I believe our camera is on the roll bar, so what we see here is much more than the driver sees.
Yeah, I think so. Not holding up Smith too much though at the moment. He's very much on his way to the back of P3. Gray almost went for the move and it's cost him badly because he's hit the wall. That was very misjudged there by Michael Gray. Almost I don't know if that was a dummy to the inside, I'm not quite sure, but completely missed his braking zone. And yes, seemingly okay out there, but fortunate still to be out there and a little bit offline in the end. So great, if he doesn't make this move on Robinson's seat, warming him, as you just see behind, will be right on the tail. Out in the lead, Delman leads Thompson by 1 second. He's tried to repel the attackers, but Thompson's had to taken him about 5 minutes to make up this time, and now it's just a case of can Thompson make this move on surely an ultra defensive Bart Delman.
Yeah, just taking a look at the gap between these guys. It has been steadily closing in, although just did a blinding lap, was that lap 8. Took almost over a second there on single lap.
So really impressive from Bart Delman, and maybe that first race where he had a couple of incidents, maybe that was almost beneficial for him, because put him in this very strong position.
Oh, and trouble for Jamie Ayres. Is it the usual back end sticking out? Yes, it is.
Made the same error in race 1, didn't he? Along with a couple of other drivers. Frustrating for Jamie because he was having a good run, wasn't he? He was running in P3. And Thompson's got the lead, so past Delman.
That is not safe. I think he was having trouble getting the wheel spinning, so he just went to the grass to get some help.
Oh, this is... Sorry, Jamie, for watching this for so long. Oh, there's more cars. Cullinan. And Malcolm as well. Oh, that's... Scott Malcolm must have been some, 35 seconds behind? And
yeah, something like that.
Perez.
And also
yeah, but Thompson got the move on Delman. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we could get a replay of the change for the lead, where Thompson managed to make the move. Yeah.
Yes, here we go.
So there's a mistake from Delman.
Yeah, it must be because the gap is just too big.
Oh, wow. How did he do that? He must have lost it really early on, like on the brakes or something.
The car just spun on the car.
Yeah, can you explain that one? I'm shocked by that.
Yeah, I really don't have any idea, unless it is the damage, because we see that there's some damage to this car even before the contact. But it was on the right side, on the right hand corner, so it's usually the outside cars that are going to cause you trouble if there's any damage on that side. I don't know, I think that could be the first time we've seen incident in the first corner, aside from the lap 1. It's usually the 2 corners after that.
Yeah, usually. Fortunately for Delman, doesn't seem to have too much damage to that car. Second, a lot of curb there, almost kind of launching his entire car over. I think that's how he feels is the best way to deal with that curb. But it's frustrating for Delman because that was an awesome chance at a race victory, but at least a P2 still looking very strong unless Anwar Smith and Michael Gray can close in on time. But Josh Thompson, yeah, what can be said about Josh? We were talking how close he was to the race victory at Mid-Ohio. So a little bit unlucky that day because Anwar Smith managed to really pull out a lead early on in race 2. Thompson came so close to making up the time and making the move right at the end, but today you feel as though if he can just take the race victory in this one, be on pole position for race 3. And that triple, which is an achievement I don't think he's yet to complete.
Yeah, this might be his best chance because this is a fresh chance for everyone, and the teams with more drivers, they might have had existing setups for the older tracks, whereas this one is new to everyone, and Josh is an experienced and very fast driver, so he might be more used to this kind of situation here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, also, could we maybe get a replay of that lap 1 incident just from Josh's perspective? Because he managed to just drive through all of it, just got to the inside and managed to drive past all the other cars who were crashing into one another. And that was really the key to his success in this race, because he gained about 5 or 6 positions right there. Came
Who was
away
it that
undamaged.
had the issue? Was it Max Wright or Chris Danes? Do you remember?
It was. I'll just find it for.
Yeah, you
for
can
a
just find
second.
it and send me the
Yeah.
timestamp so we can go on board with him.
Yeah, perfect drive so far for Josh. We have got Michael Gray and Richard Warmingham quite close to one another. And Warmingham
the
actually looking
teammates-
really strong.
Yeah, teammates,
Yeah,
I think they are just kind of taking it easy for now. And you know what? We might be almost done with this race. Again! It's like these races go by so quickly that we don't even notice it.
Yeah.
This might be the final lap, yeah, because its clock is ticking down and we are only halfway through the lap.
Yeah, the time is up for Josh Thompson. And he hasn't got too many more corners to round out, so he gets his first ever double race 1 and race 2 victories in this series. And surely he'll be the favourite for race 3 as well to complete, something that he would have really been aiming for. Here comes Josh Thompson, approaching the line now to take race 2. Awesome drive from Josh Thompson, up 15 positions. And he did it with ease in the end, so 8 seconds clear of Bart Daleman. A long way behind, but still a good result for Bart. He'll fancy his chances in race 3 as well for another podium, with Anwar Smith being closely followed by Michael Gray and Richard Warmingham right at the end. So yeah, we kind of saw the action at the start of that race in terms of the incident, Sam. But yeah, what a drive from Josh Thompson. He made those moves absolutely perfectly when he needed to make them, and yeah, that's a real mark of a champion.
Yeah, he was able to just avoid the trouble and just keep moving. And unfortunate for Bart Daleman, because I think because of that one incident that he had, he kind of didn't get the battle for the first place that we were expecting and hoping for. But other than that, it was just a great drive by Josh Thompson. Just taking a look, do we have any battles going on the final lap? Because we remember what happened in the previous race.
Yeah, not quite the same, I think, today. Really, in those final few laps, there really wasn't an overtake, I think, for the final 3 laps, unfortunately. And yeah, Chris Danes just coming across the line, frustrating for him. He started in 11th, did Chris Danes, but showed good pace in the first race. So I'll be disappointed with that P15 after getting involved in a couple of incidents. I'm not sure if I pressed the right button, Sam, but I think I pressed the record event button, so I don't know if that's come up on your screen as well.
No,
Or
it hasn't,
an event.
unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. We'll, I think, yeah, drives are completed now, and yeah, Josh Thompson taking the race victory from 16th on the grid. What a drive. Bart Daleman finishes in second. Really good drive from him. You wonder if it weren't for that off near the end, could he have maybe hung on against Josh Thompson? But either way, that was a great drive. And I'll be looking for a podium in race 3 as well. But Anwar Smith, good drive from him in third, holding off Michael Gray for the entire 20 minutes in fourth. Richard Warmingham finished in fifth, with Colin Robinson a strong sixth. And it's Richard Gafenku who was caught up in an incident at turn 3 on the opening lap. James Underhill in 8th, Max Wright in 9th, Lee Woodburn 10th. Then it's Faith Cullinan in 11th, with Jamie Ayres in 12th after running in second place in the early stages. Scott Malcolm finishes in 13th, Anthony Jacobson 14th. It's Chris Danes, Steve Lavelli, and Ronald Moons was 10 laps down in 17th position. The finishing results of this race will decide the grid positions for the final race, and that final race will be with you in about 20 minutes time for race 3 of the evening here at the BSR
you know what?
Grand Tour.
Because we would have the like very long ad break, we might as well just look at the first lap from Josh's point of view, because we know what the reverse grid was going to be. So let's take a look at it. So I think this way we can see what happened on the first lap. So turn 1, no big trouble here. Turn 2, everything looks fine.
Yeah, and we will see an incident here for Gafenko. I think you can see Smith really brave on the inside there. And was it him who caused the contact? No, it was actually Danes, I think. And you can see how close Thompson was to making contact there. Of course, there's a much bigger impact at the end of this lap as well. Just behind Cullinan and Smith at this point. And this is just perfect driving from Josh Thompson, isn't it? You can really learn a lot from this in terms of positioning the car. He's not doing anything risky, I'd say, Sam, but at the same time, he's still making a lot of overtakes.
No, he's just putting the car where it needs to be. He's avoiding the contacts, avoiding the collisions, and just biding his time. Here he didn't force the issue, just backed off. There was no room to make any moves. So just wait and see, and I think we will see something here in just a moment.
Yeah, there's, what, 6 cars right in front of him? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 6 cars just ahead of him. And yeah, this is where the contact happened, just ahead. Now let's see, was this luck or skill? I'll put it down to a mixture.
I think he was able to see that something was happening and that the inside line was completely open, so why not go there? No one else is.
Yeah, brilliant driving from Josh Thompson. And yeah, after that he managed to sprint off into the distance. So yeah, we will see you back in about 15 minutes time for the final race of the evening here at Belle Isle.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was
Welcome to race 3 of the evening in the BSR Grand Tour live on Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me is Sam Kumo, who is also on the cameras. And yeah, we've got a 35-minute race 3 for you to round off the evening. The winner of both races so far today was Josh Thompson, and he is starting on the pole position for this one as well. Anwar Smith inherits second position after, unfortunately, Bart Daleman couldn't make the session because he looked really strong, did Bart, but Anwar Smith will be lining up on the front row with Michael Gray in third, and it's Richard Warmingham in fourth. So really strong top four there, and that's Colin Robinson and Richard Gabenke. That'll be an interesting duel between those two, with James Underhill a strong seventh. There's Max Rowe, Lee Woodburn, and Rafe Cullinan rounding out the top 10. And behind that is Jamie Ayres, Scott Malcolm, as Anthony Jacobson, Chris Daines, Steve Labelli, Kip Stevens, and Lena Connor, who joined this race for the first time this evening. Here we go then. Rolling start for these guys. And it'll be Josh Thompson to lead them away. Remember, a pit stop in this race. Can Josh Thompson get the start he needs? And away we go. Smith strongly away as well, but Thompson way out in the lead. Smith hanging on to second position ahead of Michael Gray and Richard Warmingham. Already making a move is Richard Gapenku past Colin Robinson. That's important for Gapenku. They've all kind of sorted themselves into a single file, unlike race 2 where we saw a lot of incidents down into this turn 3, and there's another incident. Jamie Ayres making contact, then there's going to be more contact as well, but not sure who that was in the Ferrari.
That's around.
Yeah, Chris Danes got involved in that one as well in the Ferrari. And just seems to be pushed up a little bit then. Yeah, Sam, the walls certainly making a big difference there.
Yeah, that's what we've been seeing, and Jamie Ayres really hasn't had a good evening. It seems like whenever we look at him, he's being spun or just spinning. So now he's dead last and 8.5 seconds behind, so that's gonna take a while to catch up.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was Woodburn and Danes, I think, the main two drivers involved in that one. Malcolm Slow down the inside, potentially. This isn't an overtaking spot, perhaps, but sorry, that was Max Wright going slowly. James Underhill nearly making the move. Wright managed to get the move on Underhill earlier on in this lap.
Yeah, we saw Wright being very cautious in the first race. And let's see what happens here. That is Chris Danes making a pass on Woodburn, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, just making his way up through the field. Is there going to be a move? Maybe Max Wright just about defending against James Underhill. Wright always seems to, well, I say always seems to, but yeah, certainly right now, finding himself in a strong position after not a strong race 1. And considering he's been a little bit off the pace today, this would be a really good result for him if he can hang on to this one, although he's already dropping off Colin Robinson currently. As in the lead, it's relatively close. We want a battle out there, and Josh Thompson right now, Anwar Smith keeping tabs on him. Don't know how long this is going to last.
I don't think very long, because previous lap Josh was 8 tenths faster than Smith. So it might be that we will see the repeat of first race where Josh just runs away with it, but in each of the race, so both of the race so far we've had good battles, so I don't think that's going to be a major issue. Although of course we would like to see a good battle for the lead, but just look anywhere on the track, you have some great battles and overtaking happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris Danes trying to increase that overtaking, having a look into turn 1. We've seen a lot of drivers kind of have a look into turn 1, but it's such a small braking zone because the straight beforehand isn't particularly long. Here is a swap between the XVR drivers, and it's Richard Warmingham going past Michael Gray. Warmingham seemingly faster today than Gray. Certainly in race 1 we saw that, and in fact in race 2, Warmingham very nearly managed to catch up and pass Gray. So that's a change. And we'll see if Warmingham can maybe mount an attack on Anwar Smith. Warmingham's been really strong today, I must say. Really helping his showdown chances. It hasn't been an awesome season yet for Richard Warmingham. He's yet to win a race, I believe. I think he may have won a race. No, I don't think he has won a race this season. So, yeah, it would be great if he could maybe get a podium out there. And he'll be looking to catch up to Anwar Smith now.
Yeah, and considering their teammates, they might be just making sure that their cars are separated, so when we get to the pit stop phase, which we will have in this race, it's usually a good idea to have a bit of a gap so you don't block each other, because again, new track, new pit entrance. Some drivers might be a bit more cautious into the entry because we don't really know how far you can push. And Chris Danes pushing a little bit too far.
He hit the wall. I heard some contact.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, although we don't see too much damage on that, right? But yeah, he certainly lost quite a bit of time there. He was looking really strong, up 4 positions around the tail of Big Khan, and here's Lee Woodburn. He's struggled a little bit today, but yeah, still running in that P11 currently quite strongly. Steve
right there,
barely just
yeah.
making a move on Scott Malcolm, yeah. So Malcolm certainly slower than these guys. Anthony Jacobson as well, just behind. And the XVR just trying to make their way through. Next up will be Lane O'Connor, who's been a little bit, because this is the first race of the evening. So just getting used to the track. Here's Lane O'Connor, and he should kind of improve his pace as this race goes on.
Yeah, this is the first race for Lane O'Connor, and he started all the way back, so he has moved 2 positions up, overtaking Jamie Ayres, who had an issue. And also, I believe this might be the first race of the evening for Kip Stevens as well.
Yeah, I think so. Good livery on that Mercedes, I must say. The Kip, oh, he's very wide though. Don't ruin the livery.
Yeah, I think last week he had the black livery, and he is testing the walls. They are solid. Don't worry, no need to test them. And here we go, inside the top 10. That is Underhill making a way past McBride, and now it might be rough going moving on the outside though, but that hasn't really worked so far. And now he's under attack from Chris Danes.
Yeah, Danes, I'd say, looking the fastest out of these guys. Can he maybe look for maybe basically doing the opposite of what Cullinan does? And he might have the chance on the inside into turn 3. Cullinan still makes the apex, and Danes there needed to be a little bit braver on the bricks, just get his nose in there. And he may have had a chance against Cullinan, but this, you can maybe go for a little bit of a sneak attack, and that's what Danes might do, but just so narrow around this circuit, and that BMW so strong on the brakes as well. Let's see if he can get close on the exit here. Cullinan really close to the back of Wright, and they'll all be closing in on one another. How much power does that BMW have? Can Wright just defend any sorts of move? Can Danes go for a real surprise attack? He's much later on the brakes, but there was never a chance to go for the inside. And yeah, can he maybe go for a little bit of a sneak attack around this part of the circuit? He's close enough maybe to just look to the inside into the hairpin. Will he go for it? No, that BMW just a little bit in the middle of the circuit, offering no chance to the Ferrari.
And off screen I can tell you that Andrew Jacobson has taken to the pit lanes. Had an 8-second pit stop, so that might have been just the refill and go to the end, because I don't think he had any major damage, maybe some, but it was short pit stop, which indicates just the fuel.
Oh, there's Lane O'Connor into the pits as well, I think. Fuel should last quite long around this place actually, and so they should be able to get to the end of the event. It was a really long pit stop for Anthony Jacobson, and Kip Stevens in as well. So a lot of the guys at the back of the field already pitting in. A bit surprising that they've all gone for this one.
Trouble for James Underhill.
Oh, frustrating for James. Must have just been a spin because there's not much damage on that car, and he's managed to clear, crucially, Max Wright. But yeah, here it was, and it's going to be, I fear, quite a clumsy mistake. And that is a clumsy mistake, just dipping his wheel onto the grass there. Oh, that must be frustrating. Now he's got 3 cars who are evenly matched on him, and he's got to make the moves on all of them.
Yeah, he did hit the wall there on the front end, but we'll see if it has any effect. Up front, for the 4th place, we have a battle going on between Gray and Kavenku.
Yeah, looking back on it, it was probably a good decision that Warmium managed to get past Gray, or sorry, that they swapped those 2 XVR drivers around. Otherwise, you know, there'd be Warmium would be really under pressure, but instead he's trying to catch up to Anwar Smith, whilst Anwar Smith's teammate is trying to get past Richard Warmium's teammate. Youth Energy versus XVR. And to the inside goes Richard Gabenku. That would be a really late move, and I think he's going to make it nearly into the wall. Goes Michael Gray, but Gabenku up into P4, and now if he can really push, he can maybe help out his teammate just ahead.
Yeah, Steel Bailey, he has also made his pit stop, so it seems like the guys at the back, they are taking this opportunity to get the pit stops out of the way. So, although I would have expected maybe just run long as you can, so if you get any kind of wall contacts, you can also get those repaired.
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? You don't really want to pit and use your faster pair when, but early on in the race, because there'll be a much larger opportunity for you to make a mistake later on.
That's
Dane's
a very
still on the...
optimistic way of thinking. You have more opportunities to have your mistake later on.
I'm being realistic, I think.
Okay, okay. Let's leave it at that.
Oh, Danes is in. So clearly he's feeling confident about getting to the end without making a mistake, because he's going to use his faster pair maybe here. Not too much damage on that car, so yeah, he is using his fast. Well, I don't know if he is actually. That might just be normal optionals, but how long is he stationary for? Not very long whatsoever. 8.83.
8.8,
bit
yeah.
slower.
That is second longer than everyone else.
Yeah.
Rest
So
of them have
maybe
been
not-
under 8 seconds, so I think even for him that was just few.
So now, it is just a duel between Wright and Cullinan. Wright has defended so well so far. In 7th position, he's 6 seconds off Colin Robinson. It's going to be another awesome day for Colin Robinson. Really has looked strong in these past couple of races. First at Mid-Ohio last week, and now here at Belle Isle. But Wright looks... oh dear. I was just about to say, Wright looks really stable, as though he's not going to make a mistake. Ah.
Yeah, that happens. To be fair, it's not as bad as when Marco is commentating.
Oh,
I think it was just
stop
non-stop in one of those races.
Yeah, Marco was meant to do this one, but the drivers were like, no, Marco, don't. We don't want your commentator's curses. But yeah, I'm clearly filling in for him. Let's see if Max Wright can come back, though, against Rafe Carnan. I think he'll be able to stay close at least, but he's going to have to wait till the pit stops, and of course the driver who's going to benefit from this will be Chris Danes, who theoretically could well be ahead of these guys once these drivers make their pit stops.
Yeah, let's just take a look at the intervals. Chris Danes, that is about the gap. The difference between them, that's 24 seconds, so Chris Danes should be ahead because the pit lane time is around 32, 34.
Yeah,
But we'll see when
I think so,
we'll see
yeah.
when that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, Wright's still staying relatively close. Is it worth maybe under... oh, Gafenki's in. That's bold from Gafenki. I respect that. That's I think that's quite a good strategy. At least it forces Richard Warmingham not just to think of the driver ahead of him. Youth Energy, I think, have really pulled off something good there, because it means that if Smith and Warmingham start battling, then at least Gafenki will be able to jump the pair of them, and Youth Energy will be able to keep that second place, whatever happens.
Yeah, that's not a bad place for Gafenki to come out. He's behind the battle ahead, who will be making a pit stop, I think, fairly soon if the previous pit stop have been any indication. And he is not currently in any kind of battles, so he'd have a clean track and just run his lap times there.
Yeah, well, he'll hope that the drivers ahead pit soon. He's... well, I think he's consistently, well, nearly 2 seconds a lap faster, 1.5 seconds a lap faster than the drivers ahead, and he's 4 seconds behind. So if they stay up for another 5 laps, could be real problems potentially for Richard Gafenki. But for now, looks like a good strategy. Now, how will the XVR drivers and Anwar Smith respond to this? They're going to stay out. Only thing that they really can do, I think. But this is a... yeah, he's in between a rock and a hard place now, is Richard Warming, because if he tries to fight against Anwar Smith, then he's going to be vulnerable from the undercut from Gafenki, but course, if he pits now, then that's his major chance at getting past Smith potentially over. I don't know, but it's going to be difficult now to the end of the race for Richard Warming to get that second place.
For Anwar especially, I mean, he should be staying out right now because there's no traffic in front. There is one lapped car, but they have about is that about 8 seconds ahead, so that is not immediate yet. And it is Kip Stevens. I don't think Kip will be just giving the way easily. So he should not have any major trouble getting the lap times in. But maybe for Birmingham, if he feels that he is much faster than Smith, it might be worth just making the pit early and not waste time here driving behind and wearing out your tires.
Yeah, I think so. 4 tenths behind currently, but we've been watching this battle quite closely, and we really haven't seen Warming come close to an overtake. Warming often struggles to make the overtakes against slower drivers around maybe more easy to overtake circuits. That's maybe his main deficiency, I think, Richard Warming. Maybe something they could work on, because when he's out in the lead, or when he's just got clear laps to set in these GT cars, he can be absolutely unstoppable. But maybe just making the overtakes in the reverse grids is something that he's not quite so confident on. And yeah, making a move in Anwar Smith is going to be so difficult for Richard Warming up. They're driving very smoothly. Of course, we'll be taking part in the Euro V8s, the KSW painting Euro V8s. I'll be with you on Saturday at 18:15 GMT. Certainly tune in for that one. And of course, we've also got the World GT tomorrow, which will be at 19:15 GMT, I think. So certainly tune in for that one. I think that'll be at Belle Isle as well. So should be awesome racing there. Scott Malcolm and Chris Daines are very close. Just looking at the timing screen. Here they are. Malcolm defending.
Chris Daines looking at the outside. And now the inside, that was very aggressive on the curbs.
Nice move.
Yeah. Although you don't want to make those kind of moves with the LMPs. But fortunately...
Oh, is
okay.
it?
I was about to say, fortunately, with these cars you can get away with it, but not necessarily touching the walls.
So... Oh yeah, sorry, Daines pitted, didn't he? So that's why he was behind Malcolm. That was important actually, that Daines didn't lose too much time. So Daines on that last lap, he did a 28.09. The drivers that he's fighting are Cullinan, Wright and Underhill. They did 28.1s. So, and actually Cullinan just did a 27.6. So awesome lap time there from Rafe Cullinan. So this strategy from Chris Daines might move him ahead of Max Wright, but not totally convinced that he's going to get past Rafe Cullinan, because Cullinan in that BMW is showing really good pace. And quite good to see, 3 of the top 6 are BMWs. It kind of shows perhaps that this circuit really does favour that manufacturer.
Yeah, that's not something we've used to see so far this season. It has been mostly the Mercedes, with a few Ferraris here and there. And if I've been reading closely enough to the forums, I think there might be few issues with the Ferrari. At least some of the drivers are complaining about the performance, that it might need some tweaking, and the Ferrari is currently just not necessarily competitive in some of the tracks. I don't know, maybe it's not a huge issue here, but you've seen it mentioned a few times on the forums.
Yeah, I think it's got quite low downforce as the Ferrari, and maybe around a circuit like this, you kind of want a little bit more downforce. Chris Daines will be asking for that. Although, to be fair, Chris has had good pace today. Colin Robinson in. So, from a really strong P5, we really should praise Colin for what he's done today, because his showdown chances after the first kind of 3 rounds of the season didn't look too strong, but these 2 BMW circuits, arguably, that's what Josh Thompson certainly said, made it higher, and here have really benefited Colin Robinson. And where will he come out? He should be ahead of Chris Daines.
Yeah,
Quite a
seems to
long
be
pit stop,
about...
though.
That's a slow
Oh,
exit
he's only
from-
just. And he's going to have to go defensive now. Robinson to hang on to this position. This is crucial for the end results. And Robinson hangs on. Although it was a really long pit stop for Robinson, he lost 3 seconds in comparison to Chris Danes, and Danes very nearly managed to get the undercut.
And it seemed like he got away. It looked like he was going to be well. Oh,
Oh wow! I just looked away as that happened.
uh-huh.
It's another
That's not
commentator's
going
curse,
anywhere.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Up and
praising.
over.
Yeah. Don't think Colin's gonna have too much. Gonna know too much about that. To be fair, I think you can see he kind of turned out of the corner because he saw the other car on the inside. Wasn't
But
enough.
it wasn't like he wasn't exceptionally slow into the corner or anything. I don't know, maybe Danes was just blindsided following him so closely. And also a little bit of excitement there because when driver comes out of the pits, it might usually just throw your rhythm a bit, so you usually want to make the attack as soon as possible.
Yeah, maybe felt as though that was his last chance. I don't know if we could just see that replay on board with
Danes.
yeah, sorry, yeah, on board with
Yeah.
Danes.
So let's take a look.
It's very
I-
clumsy from Chris, isn't it? I feel sorry for
Yeah.
Colin.
He wasn't close enough to make a move, and there was really no space there. I think Chris notices and just backs off.
Yeah, it would have been a fascinating battle as well between those two, and Wright and Underhill, and the others who are involved in that battle, Max Wright as well. So that would have been really interesting to see how those guys kind of mixed in with those lot. But yeah, a little bit disappointing that we're not going to have that battle. But into the pits did come Max Wright, and he had a decent pit stop. I think James Underhill had a long pit stop, lost about 6 seconds. Lee Woodburn now into the pits, but of course Josh Thompson miles out into Lee. He is 11 seconds clear of Anwar Smith. Also Richard Warmingham pitted. I think we missed that one. So Richard came into the pits, and crucially he's still a long way clear of Richard Kopenki.
Yeah, that seems to be maybe the fastest pit stop we had so far for Warmingham, 6.3 seconds. Let's see who we have. We have Foodborne. I'm just interested to see how the beat X here is.
It's really awkward actually, because with the bumps and whatnot, you can kind of be lured into a false sense of security, because you think you can gun it on the throttle, but actually the bumps can catch you out.
Yeah, because it looked like on the exit, it seems really slow, at least when I was looking at it on the track map. Let's see, this battle here between Malcolm and Underhill. Malcolm hasn't made his pit stop yet, so I don't think there's gonna be a huge battle here.
Do we know what happened to Richard Kopenki, sorry?
Ah,
Right at the back of the field.
he has
So
jumped a bit, so I believe that might be some problem. Richard Kopenko has crashed, so let's take a look.
I think that was Warmingham who just made his pit stop. I think, and he's okay here, isn't he, Richard?
Yeah, but I see another crashed about 20
Ah,
seconds later. So if we stay with him, we might see what's happening here.
Ooh, wow, okay. And yeah, that's the steering gone. Oh, wow, and he was fortunate not to take anyone else out with him. I think he must have got stationary straight away. Actually, he rolled a little bit, but tried to get out of the way, to be fair, did Richard. And did a nice wheelie as well.
Not sure where he is going there. Well, he at least towed back to the pits after that.
Does mean Dave Cullinan, I think, will inherit P4. Smith is into the pits, and so too is Gray. So where is Smith in comparison to Warmingham? This is really important. Smith on the outside, Warmingham on the inside, and he's made the move. But can Smith come back now? He's got the slightly better run. This is absolutely crucial for P2 in this race 3 of the evening. Warmingham on the inside, Smith outside, and he's going to sweep round the outside. Warmingham so careful on the inside, way too passive, and Anwar Smith makes the move up into second position once again. And Warmingham there, his racecraft, I thought at least, Sam, he needed to be a lot more brave on the brakes. If it means running Smith into the walls, you know, go ahead with it. But you know, he after working so hard to get that undercut, he's kind of let that second position go quite easy.
Yeah, I believe that might be the first time we've seen the odd challenge work on that corner. So I would have imagined that he should have just had the easy time defending it, but he was very cautious there. I don't know why, because they are fighting for position, and we only have about 9 minutes left of the race.
Well, what would Richard Warmingham give to have another situation like that, you know, side by side going into turn 3, the main overtaking spot on this circuit, and you kind of seriously doubt that he's going to be able to get another situation like that, like he's going to be able to get a similar run on Anwar Smith, and maybe he is destined for a P3 today. Michael Gray in 4th, with Cullinan, he's the big gainer from all those incidents that we saw. He's in 5th, although Steve LeVay's right on his tail. Steve Lavelli has made his pit stop. He pitted right at the start. He was right at the back of the field, wasn't he, Sam? So really good pace from Steve Lavelli, as long as he can get to the end of the race from here. I think he can. So yeah, that super undercut has worked brilliantly for the XBR driver.
Yeah, that was it was lap 6 when Lavelli made his pit stop, and he has been running pretty quickly so far. As Josh Thompson made his pit stop, but I don't think he's in any danger of being overtaken. It was about half a lap advantage that he had. But we need to go back to the battle for the second place, because Smith is not being able to run away with it.
Well, we saw in the first 14 laps before Warmingham made his pit stop how Warmingham was just harassing Smith really closely. Once again, while Smith was complaining, I mentioned this in the second race, but he was mentioning how this is a bit of a procession, and once again, he'd be quite happy if it just stays the same as this to the end of the event. But I don't know how Richard must be feeling in that cockpit, because you know, he had such a good chance at just getting the move done, and he feels as though if he'd been able to establish that track position, he would have definitely been able to hang on to the end of the event. But instead, Smith just ahead, and now an overtake is going to be so difficult for Richard to pull off Michael Gray and further 8 seconds behind. Also, Lane O'Connor looking for a move on Scott Malcolm. I think that's probably the most imminent move out there. Lane O'Connor on that last lap was nearly 2 seconds faster. On this lap, he is 1.5 seconds faster. So O'Connor closing in considerably.
And the reason is that Scott hasn't made his pit stop. He is the only driver who still hasn't pitted.
I did not notice that. I just thought, yeah, Scott then really kind of shows how much he's struggled in this race 3. Hasn't got too much damage on that car. Jamie Ayres just behind, so O'Connor needs to make this move nice and quick. Otherwise he could be under pressure. And Malcolm there, I thought he was going to let past the XBR driver, but instead stays ahead. And this is just helping Jamie Ayres, who's easily making time up on his rival.
Jamie Ayres, he had some troubles early on, but he's now back right where he started, on the 11th position.
This is just brilliant Perez, isn't it? Half a lap it's taken him to completely close the gap to Lane O'Connor. And can he use Scott Malcolm to his advantage and O'Connor into the wall? And we've seen a few drivers do that today and get away with it, but you don't want to do that too often. There's now, can he get the run? No, he's a little bit off the apex. Will Malcolm come into the pits this time? Yes, he does. And this duel can carry on.
And that's pretty close with the entry because I think we on board the cones that mark the start of the pit lane speed limit. They are very close to the entrance, so you have to start braking on the racing surface, on the racetrack. So you may not want to follow the inside line there.
No, that could certainly be an awkward situation, especially for a driver trying to get into the pits on the outside through that section.
And on O'Connor under massive pressure here, making mistakes. I mean, oh, that is James Underwood pointing the wrong direction.
James should be up in P5 right now. You think in the early stages he was ahead of Rafe Cullinan comfortably. He was a couple of seconds ahead and pulling away. Made one mistake earlier on with a spin. And I think he's pretty fortunate not to have hit the wall so far. And just a bit of an overcorrection, wasn't it? And
overcorrection and
damaging the nose.
Small tap there. He's able to continue but loses 2 more positions.
Cullinan versus Lavelli. Lavelli still hasn't been able to make the move. He's considerably faster as Lavelli, and if that's not a slowdown, I don't know what will. And it's not a slowdown. No, it is. Oh, I called one right for once. So, yeah, really attacked that curve far too much, did Steve. And he's got to try to catch back up to Rick Connor, although in 3 minutes, he might have enough time. Yeah, he should be able to catch up. But what a good result this would be for Rick Connor. Currently P5 will almost certainly move ahead of Michael Abdoka, I think, in the showdown in terms of the points for the showdown qualification. And that would really help him. Of course, qualified for the showdown last season, but just struggled a little bit in the showdown races. But he's been strong at Montreal, Mid-Ohio, and once again here. And it looks like a strong P5 moment, and almost best of the rest.
Let's take a look back at this second place battle going on. It seems almost static. Occasionally, Birmingham is able to close in, but the gap seems to be around that 4 tenths, 3 tenths. Again, Birmingham really close, but then loses the back end slightly, and the gap goes up by 2 tenths again.
Yeah, and if Birmingham's not confident enough to stick to the inside at turn 3, I'd like to go and make a move into that corner. He is definitely faster as Richard. He's been faster for this entire race. But maybe the one chance he had at getting the undercut earlier on, couldn't take it. And it just looks as though he's going to spend the rest of this race sitting behind the Youth Energy car.
Well, you will never know. Like we saw in the second race with, or was it? Yeah, second race with Port Diamond. But this very odd incident really in the turn 1. So you really never know. Also with the first race, the last lap shenanigans, that kind of took our attention. We had no idea what was going on there. 3 separate incidents in the same corner.
I think that'll go down as yeah, a legend, I think. Oh, Lavelli's really close onto the back of Cullinan. Can he look to the inside into turn 1? No, but maybe into turn 3. This is probably his last chance. This is the last lap of the race. Cullinan versus Lavelli. Can Lavelli find the inside? Cullinan's got to surely cover it off. Lavelli, there's still a little bit of space on the inside. He's going to go to the outside instead, though. I don't think he's going to be able to swoop round. He's trying to get the cutback now, and he hasn't got the cutback. He's just taken too much curb there, and he's going to have to look for another move elsewhere on the circuit. I think Josh Thompson has only got a few more corners to go. He's on his 24th lap, and as the timer ticks down to 0, Josh Thompson hasn't taken a triple in this series before, but today he will. Race 1, race 2, and now race 3 for Josh Thompson. Awesome drive for him today. Fantastic Sunday evening, and that will set him up perfectly for World GT tomorrow. Anwar Smith holding off against Richard Warby, and what a battle they had for the entire race, with Michael Gray in 4th place. Because we didn't talk too much about Josh through today, Sam. He was just so dominant throughout. But what an achievement it is to get all 3 races, especially around a circuit like this where we got a full reverse, remember, in that second race. It's a track which is incredibly difficult to overtake around, and you know, Josh made it look easy.
Yeah, definitely. We were expecting it to be much harder in the second race, considering the difficulties we saw with the overtakes in the first race. But of course, he was able to make the moves, make use of the accident that happened in front of him. If you didn't see those, go back to the end of the second race. We showed the first lap from Josh's point of view, and how he was able to manage the traffic, manage the accident, and just make the moves. But yeah, solid evening for Josh Thompson, but also good battles here for the second place with Smith and Warmingham. Maybe Warmingham feels like he left something on the table, and hopefully he can just take a look back at that and work on it for the next week.
Yeah, hopefully. Because yeah, that was a great opportunity at second, but you know, it's still a really good result for Richard and a really good day. I think that might be his strongest day of the season, and after a stronger mid-Ohio round as well, where he showed a little bit more pace as well recently. He's been a little bit more competitive as Richard, and yeah, hopefully that will carry on due to the rest of the season, and hopefully he'll be able to qualify for the Showdown after missing out so narrowly last season. But today, Josh Thompson takes the race victory, his 3rd of the evening, 10.9 seconds clear of Anwar Smith. In the end, it really was comfortable. He just finished ahead of Richard Warring in 3rd. What a battle those 2 had. Michael Gray had a bit of a lonely race in the end in 4th, with Rafe Cullinan going home 40 seconds off the lead in 5th. Steve Lavelli drove really well after a super early pit stop. He comes home in 6th place. Maybe will be a little bit disappointed he couldn't make that move in the closing stages. Max Wright did well, an 8th and a 7th in races 2 and 3, with Lane O'Connor in 8th. That's really good from Lane, to be fair, 17th on the grid. And he hadn't driven the first 2 races of the evening, so well done to him, with Jamie Ayres in 9th place. Then it's James Underhill in 10th. He'll be frustrated he couldn't get a top 5, because in the early runnings, he was looking really strong. Lee Woodburn finishes in 11th, then a lap down. Scott Malcolm, he struggled for pace throughout, but in the end I think he managed to get 3 top 12, so that's pretty good for Scott. Anthony Jacobson finished in 13th, with Colin Robinson, he'll be frustrated with that, in 14th. Kip Stevens finished in 15th, with Richard Kabenku getting involved in a crash, as we saw earlier on, in 16th. And Chris Daines, another driver frustrated in his Ferrari after making contact with Colin Robinson. He ends up 11 laps down in 17th position. Hopefully we can get some interviews, and of course we can always rely on Josh Thompson giving us one. And yeah, Josh, really well done, mate. 3 race victories for you today. We talked a little bit at Mid-Ohio about how close you were to getting the triple race victory in an evening, and yeah, today you've managed to achieve it.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I feel I've had quite a few opportunities now of getting a triple, but take it Belle Isle, bittersweet really.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course that second race, really the thing that made it, I don't know if you may have won anyway, but what made it a little bit more easy for you was that pile up where you managed to get 6 cars in one. Was that just luck that you went to the inside, or could you maybe see something stewing just ahead and you decided to place your car on the inside there?
80% I knew where it was going to happen. I knew straight away coming onto the straight, like how aggressive everyone was being. Like everyone was being a bit stupid in my opinion. At the start, like smashed into each other, making it 4 wide, and just like it's not going to happen. Just chill. It's a long race, especially around here. Anything can happen. Someone clipping the wall, you just get the run. So when I saw it all, I came onto the back straight. They're all slow, and I saw them like I don't know who it was, kink to the inside last second into that little kink over the main straight. And straight away, I was like, I need to get to the left. So I started veering over to the left and looking up. I could see it just in front of me, in between the cars. And as straight away, you can see on the replay, you look back, I went right straight away and it paid out. So lucky enough. For once, I made the right decision.
Yeah, it was an absolutely perfect decision. And really, those races 1 and 3 were very simple for you. In the end, you weren't really chasing anything. You were comfortably out in the lead. Did you have to kind of work on your psychology at all just to make sure that you stay concentrated? Because a small error around here and that can be race over.
Yeah, race 1 was definitely easier out of the 2, I thought, because I knew I had the pace. Just the Mercedes, I need to be a bit careful for tomorrow. Like looking back in qualifying, the Mercedes finds like 7 temps, whereas the BMW loses 2 temps between race and queue. Like I was fast in qualifying on race fuel. So I need to watch out for that tomorrow. So I was a bit wary. I was like, what's going to happen here then? Lucky enough, just got my head down in race 1. I knew I had the pace in me in race 1, so that was good. But no, race 2, Almar did keep me honest for the first few laps. I was having to push really hard to get the gap. Once I got to about 4 seconds, he made a mistake and it came back to 6 seconds. And from there, it was all about just keeping consistent, keeping your head focused in the game. There's a few laps that I lost a bit of lax of concentration, and the lap time would go from like a 2 to like a 7, and can't afford that around this track. But no, I was still pushing into that race. I think I ended up that race with like 20 0x or something like that.
Yeah, really, really impressive. And yeah, tomorrow you got World GT. What will you be aiming for in that one? Will you be aiming for maybe a race 1 victory, and then kind of just, I guess in that series around this circuit, it's just going to be luck beyond that?
Yeah, I think qualifying is going to be my Achilles heel. It showed it at Mid-Ohio, and it's shown it at every track so far. Foggy and a few others who will turn up, who are a bit better, in my opinion, a bit more talented. Just, they find something. Like, Warmingham has found a lot of pace recently, Mercedes, and Foggy's in the same team. So I won't be surprised to see Nicole put on pole by a big chunk. But I know I can outdo him in the race with how consistent and how good the BMW is, as you saw tonight. So yeah, race 1 victory, and then race 2, race 3. I'm just going to keep out of trouble really, but I can't just hang around. I'm 110 points behind due to 2 incidents, which weren't my fault, DNF. So I've got to make something happen. So hopefully this is the turning point again.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll certainly be rooting for you, despite being unbiased. I don't know. But yeah, before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yes, obviously the admins again. Anthony for doing a good job, because obviously Lee wasn't here tonight for putting the sessions up, so that was great to see someone else doing the sessions, and it'll work quite nicely. You guys for the broadcasting as always, fantastic job, and CQR and Radicals.
Thanks, Josh, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, yeah. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. So Sam, you told me earlier where we were next week. I've forgotten. Where are we next week?
We are at Indy with the
Indy,
bike.
yeah.
Yeah, bike
Hey,
layout.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that one. Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm going to be whinging for that entire day. But yeah, I will be. But yeah, of course, we've already talked a little bit about Josh Thompson, but of course, the first race we've ever done on Apex Racing TV round this circuit, and it really does offer a lot of differences, doesn't it? To make an overtake round here, you got to be so much faster than the other driver, or the one driver has to make a mistake. It's really difficult to to make those moves, and it's just something really unusual that we don't see anywhere else.
Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, in my opinion, it was 3 great races tonight. I really enjoyed it. I don't know what you guys are complaining about in the YouTube chat. I think the drivers were not as happy with this. Not naming any names, although I see one driver who was very happy. I think he doesn't mind mentioning his name. That was Josh Thompson. he was the positive one out of that bunch. But yeah, I think it was good. Certainly the overtaking is not as easy, but there are moments there if you just are patient, plan your moves, and just don't touch the walls too hard, at least.
Yeah, they touch the walls. I think that's a good motto for this. So we saw a lot of drivers skimming the walls for the entire races and got away with it. But yeah, they you don't want to hit them too hard because tomorrow we've got the World GT round here. So that should be quite something. 40 plus GTD cars. That'll be, yeah, certainly tuning for that one. I know I am. And on Tuesday, we have the BSR MX5s. We also have the Rickmo Sports Car Series. Then we have iRacing Le Mans Series on Wednesday night. BSR TC Thursday night. Then on Saturday, we've got the sim races for Asia. I think that'll be round 4 of the season. And the team stream for the Apex Racing UK. That was awesome at Imola. Can we finally get a race victory? Hopefully. That would be absolutely fantastic if we could. Peter Bayman will be really fancying his chances around Zandvoort, so that's going to be absolute carnage. Maybe similar to today. And then we've also got Euro V8s as well. On in the evening, that'll be Okayama Short for the Super Sprints, 3 Super Sprints. And then on Sunday, we will have this series back, I think. We won't be covering the IGPS, unfortunately, but we will be back with this series again. So from me and from the other Sam as well, we'll say goodbye for now, and we will see you next time.